Hi everybody,
Hi.
Sophia here from Highland Birth and Beyond, and I'm joined by the lovely Wendy. Hi Wendy.
Hi,
So
how are
Wendy
you?
is a second time mum who's just been in the prenatal snug, and Wendy gave birth to her second baby Indy, just in the last couple of weeks. So Wendy, I would love to hear your experience all about Indy's birth. Just tell us all about it from the first contraction, if you like.
Well, it all happened in the night. A lot of second-time mums will know that the first inkling is almost like a period pain, I feel like a cramp. So these had been going on sort of every 2 hours from about midnight. I was getting up the usual 10 times to the loo and feeling the cramps. And I thought, oh, because we were a week over, and I was thinking, come on, come on. So yeah, woke up with the cramps, and like I say, they continued from midnight, and they were getting not, cramp. They were getting itchy, if you like, uncomfortable. By about 7, so I took myself downstairs, and I thought, if this is the start, best get some breakfast in me. So I took myself off downstairs, cup of tea, some toast, went back upstairs. So by this time it's 7:30, going on 8 o'clock. Give my husband a little nudge, and I said, I think it might be the start of it. You better wake up. So wake up, and my midwife had actually was due to come out to see me on the Sunday to give me a sweep, because I was at the stage where I probably could have went a little bit longer, but I wanted baby out. The way she was lying, it was getting really uncomfortable. So she was due to come out at 10:30 to give me a sweep. So I got her on the phone and I said, I'm getting nigglies, and I've gone to the loo, and the mucus plug has come away. And she said, oh, it's fine. This can happen. I'll um I'll not come out today, but I'll see you at the clinic tomorrow. I said, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And then I went downstairs again, and I thought, this is it. This is happening. So I took myself back upstairs and I said to Chris, they're getting more like contractions now. So let's just play it by ear. I want to stay at home for as long as possible because of the COVID rules at the hospital. If I go in and they want to examine me and put me on the monitor, you can't come in. And I'm quite relaxed. I know what to expect. Let's just stay at home. And he said, right, okay. And then all of a sudden, they came quick and fast. So by 8:45, I had phoned the hospital, or my husband said, I am phoning the hospital because I was so calm. And yeah, so he phoned the hospital, and I'm holding onto the wall at this time. And Sophia, I'm hearing your voice in my head, connect with the breath. Honestly, I don't know. I didn't envision hearing a voice, because these, you don't know what's going to happen. And I thought, I'm just going to breathe normally, because it's not full blown labor. I'm just going to breathe. And I didn't really want. I've got a 7-year-old, and I didn't want to see him, my face and my body all tensed up. So I'm just leaning against the wall. I'm just hearing Sophia's voice in my head. And once it had passed, I'd turn around, and my son would be like, Mum, are you okay? And I'm like, uh-huh. But I think the baby's going to come today, and I think Dad will need to take me to the hospital. And you could see it in his face. And I thought, right, I need to take myself away from him into the kitchen. And yeah, so looking out to the window, finding a bird, with it's going up and then coming back down. And then, yeah, we're in the car by 9:15, and they're coming quick and fast. And someone must have been watching. We live at the other side of Inverness, and there must be at least 10 sets of lights between here and the hospital. And every single light was green.
Yay!
But I felt every single pothole in the Highland Road all the way to Rigmore. And by this time, I'm almost at my up breathing. And my husband, I mean, I have my eyes closed the whole time when I'm sort of in the zone. But when we stop and I'm checking the lights, I look over, and I could see it in his face. I'm going to have to deliver this baby in the car. And I keep saying, it's okay, I'm fine. Don't need to push. I don't have that pushing feeling. So we get to Raigmore. And again, with COVID, we can't go round to the labour and sort of abandon the car in the side door, park in the main entrance. So we abandon and disabled, and he rushes off to get a wheelchair. And I think to myself, right, I want to be mobile. So get out the car, Wendy, and walk.
Wow.
So I managed to get myself out the car, shut the car, and I get halfway over the zebra crossing, and my husband's freaking out. Why are you walking? Why are you walking? I've got the wheelchair. And I said, because I want to be up. I don't want to be all flat on my back like I was the last time.
Yeah.
And so, but he ushers me into the chair and off he goes, takes me up. And by this time, I'm full blown, sort of the 4-8 breathing. Although I only ever get to 6, I never get to 8.
That's fine. As long as it's longer,
I'm full,
exhales longer.
I'm full blown in there. And midwife says, "Oh, you know, Wendy, is it?" And I'm like, "Uh-huh." She says, "Do you think I can?" I was like, "Yep, absolutely. I know what to expect. You need to examine me and whatever." But I don't know if it was my breathing or my facial expressions, or I don't know. She said, "I don't think we have time to examine you." So she wheels me out into the corridor, and then she says, "Actually, I think we do." She wheels me back in, and quick examine. I'm 8 centimeters. So they rush me into the lift, and up we go. And again, someone must have been watching. There was no other mummies giving birth. It was just me in the whole of the labour suite. They wheeled me into the room, and by this time, I think, oh my God, why is this happening so fast? Baby number 1 was 17 hours, and this has literally been 2 hours. I have no time to think. They offer me gas and air, and I think I have to get myself up and into the bed for them to examine me. Maybe I should take. I got the gas and air. They're having a look, and yep, it's time to push. And I think, oh my goodness, this is this is not in my birthing plan. I want to be on all fours, or I want to be on the ball. I want to be mobile. But of course, you can't plan. Baby's in control. We would love everything to go to plan. So they gave me gas and air. I probably had it for about, I don't know, 40 minutes. And I was in pushing mode, but baby was coming and going back up.
Mm-hmm.
So the heart rate, it didn't drop significantly, but it was lowering because she was sort of teeming back up the way. And they said, look, you have to give up the gas and air because you're concentrating on the breathing in on the air. So, and I think, oh my goodness, I've not done this without gas and air before. But again, I think, right, get into the zone, get my breathing under control. Just remember everything that you've done the last few weeks, and go to your happy place. It's the only place that you can go right now. So yeah, that's what I did, and I had her out by 11:58. She was out, yeah, and healthy baby, 10 fingers, 10 toes, head full of hair, hairy ears, hairy neck. Explains all the heartburn. And yeah, it was so fast. And I just, I kind of, listening to other mums, I knew that second births could be quicker, but never did I think that quick. Having 17 hours and being able to go through all of the motions, I don't know if it's easier because you can mentally prepare for each step of the game, or if just being plunged into the deep end and having to just get yourself mentally stable quicker. I don't know what's worse, to be honest, or what's better.
See, emotionally, you were almost still sitting at the breakfast table. You're just like having your drink in the morning, and then suddenly you're like, "Oh, Wendy's here in my arms," just like that.
Yeah.
As you say, you know, in a funny way, almost the potholes on your journey was a bit like your birthing ball. It just got you like this. Well, it's probably not what you wanted.
No, but yeah, that car journey, I don't think my husband will ever forget. And my mum was actually here, thankfully, And when I got home, she said, Wendy, you were just so calm. And I
Oh,
said, but Mum, that's your mindset with hypnobirthing. You have to just be calm because again, you kind of know second time what's coming. Mentally, you know what's coming. So being as calm and relaxed as you can be sets you up for your next step of the game, if you like, when you're
absolutely.
having to up the game and up the breathing and get to that most important push, if you like.
And exactly, and when you
Um,
are calm and relaxed, it interrupts that fear, tension, pain cycle, and so everything
mhm.
automatically works best. I always maintain that there's not a single situation in the entire world that does not benefit from being calm and relaxed, with the exception of probably going to an audition to be somebody who's really tense and scared. It's like every other situation the world over, it just seems to benefit from having a
Yeah,
calm head and being able to stick with the breathing. I think what you said there is really interesting too, Wendy, about not wanting to be on the bed for that final kind of delivery, wanting to be up and moving around. And I know
yeah,
we talk a lot about active birth, obviously in the snug, but I think one of the good things for you is that you were obviously active for most of the first stage of labour. For the time that you were awake for it, you were moving around quite a lot anyway. And so Indy was obviously already in a good position for you at that point. Whereas people who have been kind of static or just lying flat on their back for hours and hours and hours before, nothing shifts. We all feel sluggish after a 12-hour lie-in. So imagine what that's
yeah.
like with labour as well. Wendy, would you talk to us a little bit about Jaden's birth and just what the differences were?
Yeah, I mean, Jaden's birth, like I say, it was very long. It was 17 hours from the initial cramping. My waters actually broke on the toilet of all places, so I didn't really know.
Oh, okay.
Um, so I got up again in the middle of the night for the 10th time. And it was when I was walking back to the bed, I thought, oh, oh, okay. And again, I was just calm. My husband was actually at work on night shift. I called my husband and I said, look, I've phoned the hospital and my waters have gone. I'm not having contractions. And I actually didn't get a full, I mean, that was about 2 a.m. in the morning. I didn't get a full blown contraction until probably 9 o'clock.
Okay.
But I had to go into the hospital because with Jaden, I actually had strep B.
Okay.
So I had to be put on a drip. And yeah, I mean, I didn't get taken up to delivery till closer to lunchtime. And again, I didn't actually have any lessons with hypnobirthing the first time round. I sort of read a book and I listened to some calming music and I thought, you know what, I think I can do this. Sort of mind over matter and having quite a high pain threshold. I thought, and I'd been a birthing partner for my friend, so I kind of had an inside look and I knew what drugs didn't should work for her, and I knew maybe I didn't actually need the drugs. And if I did, I did. I was quite open minded, and yeah, I was able to sort of go with the stages with Jaden's birth. I went to a lot of the antenatal classes at the hospital, and I'll never forget it. They said to me, it's almost like climbing a mountain. And you start at the bottom, and it gets increasingly difficult, and then you get to the steepest part, and then you're at the top, and then you just have to slowly come back down. And that was always in my mind with Jaden, and I was able to do that
Mhm.
with the breathing and picturing myself climbing up the hill and coming back down. And that's kind of what got me through Jaden's birth. Um, so yeah, it was long, and I guess that's why they call it labour. I was able to sort of go through the motions with him, um, and yeah, I don't know which was easier, to be honest, or I don't really know.
Two very, very
Um,
different experiences. And I guess it's
yeah,
hard to compare them because you've just had such, well, one is more recent and also one was so
yeah,
much faster. So they are really different. And I wonder if they'd been flipped round the other way and you'd had Indy's birth experience first and then Jaden's most recently again. It's like, oh, it's
I
just
know.
time
I
to
was, I
process
mean,
it.
I was very lucky in both that babies were the. I mean, Jaden actually did the same. He was coming and going back up, as well, the same as Indy did. but very lucky. And I have to say, Rigmore, the staff in there they're brilliant, and they get you through it. And both times I've had students helping out as well. So if you're delivering at Rigmore, you're in great hands, I must say.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, both very different, but very lucky as well. Just that I didn't have to have surgery or anything like that. My body was able to cope with I guess the stress that it goes under. But I will always say that being mobile before and after, I think, helps. With Jaden, I was up and about pretty much the next morning. I made myself walk to the breakfast table, and with Indy, I walked. We were in Labour 1, and the toilet was away at the end of the ward, and I purposely made myself walk there and back because it makes a huge difference just to get it's. I know you might be scared thinking your insides are going to fall out, but they won't. Just get yourself back up as soon as you can because it makes a huge difference
a lot.
being mobile in labour and after. Yeah.
And a lot of that's so psychological as well, as you say. I remember when I had my open heart surgery 4 years ago, and one of the first mornings I woke up, I was in a lot of physical trauma and physical pain. But I'll never forget, there was this lady walking past me along the corridor, and she was wearing just like a really, I say an old dressing gown, I don't mean that in a nasty way, but just a really plain, what I would call a depressing gown. It's like she was this depressing gown, and she was shuffling along in her slippers, and each step she was like, oh, because she was in such pain. And I thought, oh God, I just don't want to, I didn't even want to look because I could feel it. And I thought, right, I have to get up and move. And I had on my orange and blue and yellow Japanese kimono from when I was 15. I was like, I'm putting this on, and my flip-flops from holiday, because I love the sound of them and they make me relax. I think of being by the beach. And I got up and was going, and I was probably going about the same pace, but I was just determined. And I remember saying to my husband, like, I don't know if I can do this. And equally, I was like, I burst out laughing and said, well, who else is going to do it for me? Like, I'm the only person that can make myself walk again. I'm the only person that can get to the bathroom. I'm the only person that can decide I'm going to put on my own support stockings and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a really big shift in mindset. And again, to knowing that you're not pushing yourself to do it in a way that if it really hurts, you know to stop. But equally, you know that sometimes you just need to give yourself that extra edge to be able to move forward a bit more. So it does make a really big difference.
I have to say, I had a moment of weakness with Indy when they said, you know, you need to give up the gas in the air because she's her heart starting to go down, not significantly, not in any danger, but we need to get her out. And I said, I can't do it. And my husband said, you've done it before, you're going to do it again. And that's the only thing he said to me during the whole, because I told him, I'm in the zone, I don't need to hear your voice. But that's the only thing he said to me. And then afterwards he said, Wendy, you should have cut your nails. Because I was gripping onto him because I didn't have anything to hold on to. And I kept putting this hand out, and they said there's a handle if you want to hold on to the handle, but because I'm only 5'2", I'm just a little girl. I couldn't reach the handle, so this poor, I don't even think I actually physically saw her, but I felt her. I mean, her wrist must have been about this size, and I just grabbed her wrist and grabbed Chris's hand and for the final push. And then he said, you should have cut your nails. And I said, well, I hope that nurse is okay, because her wrist or hand or whatever I had was not very big. But yeah, I must admit, I did have a moment of weakness, and Indy was actually bigger than our brother. So yeah, he said, you've done it before, you're going to do it again. Like, just do it. Get into your zone and do it. And I thought, right, I'm going to do it. And you have to. There's only one way out with a baby. When you've gone that far anyway.
I don't think that was a moment of weakness. I think that was a moment where you were just like, okay, can I do this? Will I do this? Followed by, yes, I will. It's good to question those things. It's a moment of sheer vulnerability though, isn't it? And I know often, I mean, obviously this experience for you was not a traumatic experience. There was moments where you're like, oh gosh, some of it felt really fast, but you also felt calm and in control with it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, I think with birth trauma in particular, the reason that it is so traumatic is that you cannot get away from it. You can't, you're in any other situation where you're experiencing something that's very, very emotionally intense. You've got all the feelings going on, all the physical feelings going on, and you might be able to just move to another room or do something that takes you out of it. But your baby is doing it. Your body is doing it. There's no ability to just go, let's just leave this for a day. I'll come back to it tomorrow. It's like you've already started that ball rolling.
I would say I have a friend who's pregnant at the moment with baby number 1, and she said to me, I don't know what to expect. I have the fear. I've never had a filling. I've never broken a bone. I've never felt pain, really. And I just said to her, look, you just need to go with it. Your body, like you can't realize what your body's capable of, I think, until you give birth. Because your body just goes through the motions and it just tells you what to do almost. Yeah. Like the feeling that you get, you just have to go with it. When they say push, it's not like you're pushing a door with your hand. It's a different kind of push almost. And your body just takes over. And I said that to her. I said, you just have to keep calm. And if you want to take the drugs, take the drugs, but your body will literally take over. And you just have to go with it. It's almost magical.
I think that's it, is being able to get your thinking out of the way, and this kind of, I have to stop it. And we talk a lot about the body's kind of natural expulsive reflex or ejection reflex, and it doesn't seem like a nice comparison, but when we poo or when we vomit, when people vomit, they want to go like this, but everybody knows that you can't stop yourself vomiting. Going like this does nothing but spray the room. And equally, if you've got a really upset tummy and you've got diarrhea or you've got something going on down there, you can't stop that either. And so you give up trying to stop that when you realize you can't stop it. And it's almost the same with that bearing down bit where you were saying you're not pushing, but your body is doing the pushing. And so, your baby is coming down, and with yours obviously popping back up, you must have been really comfy there. Did you have like a 3-piece suit in there?
I don't know. Jaden did the same. I must be quite a good host.
Like, I'm just going to hang out in here, Mum. I don't want to come out yet. No, that's really lovely. And you mentioned there that Chris let you be in your zone and kind of wasn't talking to too much, apart from telling you gas and air, you can do it. You've done it once, you can do it again. What other things was he kind of doing around you to support you, or maybe just not talking was enough?
He wasn't. I think he learned from the first time. Not to look. And B, just being here for my hand, because I needed that someone to hold on to. I did the same first time round as well. I had his hand the whole time. With every contraction, I had a squeeze on his hand, and I think he just knew that his place was here with a hand or an arm or something. But that's the only thing that he said. Because the first time round, he did make the comment, "Oh my God, Wendy, how are you doing this?" I said, "That's not what I need to hear right now."
This is the most natural thing in the world. I can do this, please. Don't look.
Because the first time round, I had stirrups, so everything. The whole room was able to see in there. But this time round, I wasn't quite in the stirrups, and he just had. And I think that's what I needed to hear, him just saying, "You've done it before," because it's something I would say to Jaden if he's having a bad day, or he's having the hump at school, or he's fallen off his bike or something. I basically just say, "Get up, get on with it. You know you can do it." It's something I say all the time. So to hear it from Chris, it made me get Indy out basically. But he knew not to say a word, just let me be. And the whole experience, and again with Jaden, everybody's different. Some people want to see what's going on, but I like to have my eyes closed, keep in the zone. And it wasn't until the next day with Indy, I don't know if she was a nurse or a midwife, or someone came round the next day offering me top up with water or something, and she said, "Oh, I met you yesterday," and I said, "Oh, did you? Okay." I said, "I might have spoken to you, but I don't remember seeing you because my eyes would have been closed."
You're
Yeah.
away in your little zone, floating on a
Yeah.
happy cloud somewhere. That's a lovely place to be. So apart from trimming your nails, what kind of advice would you give to anyone else who's pregnant right now and preparing for birth?
just just enjoy it, really. Just enjoy it. I mean, I always said, because I mean, Indy was our surprise. We lived in Dubai actually at the time we fell pregnant. My surprise Dubai COVID lockdown baby. Um, and I always said, oh, when the baby's inside and the movements that you feel, I love that with Jaden, and I used to think I'll never get that again.
Oh,
But luckily and surprisingly, I did, and yeah, just enjoy every moment and all the motions that you feel, your baby's movement, and just enjoy being pregnant, and don't don't get too uptight about a birthing plan as well, because we can prep. It's like almost like an exam. You can prep your life away and plan all these things, and in that moment, it either goes your way or the baby's way.
yeah.
But yeah, just keep an open mind and keep calm and breathe.
And I think that's a big part of it as well. You know, when we talk about the birthing plan and the birthing preferences, it's almost it's not so much having the plan committed to paper as it is the education that you get in creating the plan. And a lot of people
Yeah,
then really start to think more widely about all of the different options and not necessarily, oh, I definitely don't want this, but something that's been at the bottom of the list might find its way a bit further up the list. And so it just gives that reassurance as well that, you know, people know what to expect and know what to understand along the way. But yeah, breathe, 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 breathe is my language for sure. So Wendy,
yeah,
how I know if you don't mind me asking, in
yeah,
the last couple of weeks of your pregnancy, you're like, I'm just ready. I'm just ready for this
yeah.
baby to come out. What gave you comfort at that last, you know, the last couple of weeks, just to be able to
Um,
keep going?
I think I think just again being relaxed and just knowing that baby's gonna come when baby's ready. Um, and yeah, just knowing that in hindsight, I know everything's gonna be okay. Touch wood, you know. Um, and in my head, when the midwife said, I'll come and give you a sweep," I was thinking, I don't want a sweep really.
Mm.
Um, I could do this. Um, so I don't know if it was that made Indy come that day, knowing that the midwife is en route. But yeah, just I'm quite a calm, relaxed person anyway. Um, and yeah, I'm not sure what really gave me comfort. But I just, at the back of my head, like my husband said, I knew I could do it. And I
Yeah.
knew that she was ready to come out, you know. And I think, I know it's a crazy time just now with COVID and everything going on, but I was very lucky to have my mum come to stay.
Yeah.
We've kind of been in a little bubble. And for Jaden as well, that's his happy place with Granny and Grandad,
Oh,
and knowing that he was sort of safe, because he had a bit of a moment when I left for the hospital. He got really upset.
oh,
Um, I think mum and dad probably had a tear as well, because I've never been in the hospital with Jaden.
mm,
Never been away from him. It's always dad that has to go away to work, or it's always just me and him. But knowing that he was safe and knowing that we could video time from the hospital, and
oh.
yeah, so, and he was so excited. You know, he was just desperate to see her. Um, Desperate to see her. Um, but yeah, I think that's what kind of kept me calm, knowing that my son was at home with Granny and Grandad, and just knowing that at that time it was just me and my husband as well. And he was able to come home and have that sort of final dad and son time without us as
Yeah.
well. They sort of cozied in together that night when had an overnight stay, and they had a movie and stayed up late and things. So I just, yeah, it was nice.
There's so many opportunities just for those extra special moments at that time as well, isn't there? You know,
Yeah,
situations, as you say, that wouldn't arise because you're not normally away from Jaden.
yeah.
So how was Jaden when he got to see Indy for the first time? How
Oh
many
my
tears
goodness.
were there in that room?
There was a lot, and having a puppy
Oh.
as well. I mean, I had to go in myself and calm. I mean, the dog was just because I think the dog's he was just ecstatic. So I came in first and calmed him down, and then Dad came in with baby, and yeah, we had to prop her up on the kitchen table because the dog was just. And Jaden was just like, "Oh my goodness, Mum, she's so tiny."
Oh, you're like,
And I said, "Well, she's actually bigger than she was bigger than you, not by much, but she's bigger than you."
oh.
And every morning he said, "Has she had her breakfast? Can I have my cuddle now?" Every morning. Um, and then he's off out to play, and then he comes back in for afternoon cuddles. But yeah, he's smitten.
Oh, it's so cute. I love
Yeah,
hearing the stories. You know, so many second time, third time mums will always ask, what's it like going from 1 to 2? What's it like going from 2 to 3? And I guess there's never really a definitive answer to that in the same way as what's it like to give birth, because at the end of the day, oh,
sorry, I'm just going to pop this laptop.
no, help yourself. At the end of the day, you know, a boy and a girl, different age ranges, there's lots of different things to consider. So you can never really
Yeah.
tell what it's going to be like and what the change is going to
No,
be.
and I would say for any second time mums, just having that sort of special time. Like Jaden and I, he loves the skate park, so we spent 2 days down there, and I was going for big walks, and we live up at Wester Craig, so it's all hills. We went out climbing the hills together and
Nice.
collecting pine cones and just things that we would normally do, because I knew that, within a matter of days or a week, it was a week actually, that I wouldn't be able to do it for a while. So just making time for child number one and preparation of baby coming, I think it's quite important as well. Because their little world has just been them and you for so long. I mean, Jaden's 7, so it is quite a big age gap, but he's adapted quite well. And I don't know if it's a good age gap in hindsight, because now that he can help and get the nappy for me when I forgot to get one or whatnot. But I think they'll still have a good bond because it's brother and sister.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm a little bit envious of Indy. I've always wanted a big brother. I have a fab big sister, but I had a friend who had 3 big brothers, and I just always wanted a big brother. So I was like, by the time you're born,
yeah,
you just can't have a big brother if you don't already have one.
yeah. Well,
So
I have
yeah,
a big brother, and I must say, I don't know what we were like when we were little, but just knowing that you had the big brother, and his name is John. You're John's little sister, and you better not do that because John will come and get you.
but there's also no messing with her because she's got a big brother.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
it's nice to have that security. Now, Wendy, obviously I'm a little bit biased, but tell me how the Prenatal Snug supported you, the online sanctuary for pregnant women that I run. How has that supported you throughout your
It's
pregnancy? And
been amazing. It's been so good, like I say, especially with lockdown. I went to with Jade, and I did end up going to the antenatal classes, and just being able to sort of go through this experience with all the lovely girls in the snug, and being able to do the yoga. And Sophia, you're amazing at what you do. You really are. You're just so calm and just everything. And being able to go back, because it's obviously all online, when you get that 20 minutes by yourself, you can just log on and do a quick relaxation or a quick yoga just to get yourself back in to sort of, if you've had a stressful day, or if you're just feeling a bit stiff. I found myself doing it loads, and especially towards the end, when it's almost like your body knows the baby's about to come and you get that sort of tired feeling. I would take myself up and do I don't know if you called it or if you just mentioned it in the video, the 40 winks relaxation. I
yeah,
would pop that on at the side of my bed and just, I would be gone. It was great. Um, and I think just being able to, because with lockdown again, you're sort of, you get into a rut of just watching Netflix and not doing much, and you know, and having, you know, your almost your appointment at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, whatever time the yoga was on, it made you, you know, get yourself looking okay for a start and get yourself moving, which was good. And then on the back of the yoga, the relaxation, you had the best night's sleep. So
Good.
it was grand. It was really good. And for anyone who's not done yoga before, you know, it's really easy. It's not, you know, twisty arms and twisty legs, like you see on TV. It's even with a bump in the way, it's still manageable, and it just gets you stretching, and you're, you know, I found myself with quite a sore back, and it eased that off. I mean, I did do yoga in the past, and I'm quite into the fitness. So I quite enjoyed it, because with the move back to Scotland, I kind of, and being pregnant, I didn't do much out there apart from walk, really. So being able to get back into all of that through you and through the snug, it was good. It really was good. And I think it just helps. It helps if you're mobile and if you exercise, because labour is a workout.
Absolutely. And as you say, I think what's really lovely with prenatal yoga in particular, well, certainly the way that I teach, is that prenatal yoga is all about opening. And so we
Yeah.
kind of do the opposite of all the kind of twisty, pretzely stuff that can, you know, sometimes that can make you feel quite tense if you don't feel like you're doing it right. But everything else is
Uh-huh.
so much more soft and opening. And so it's really interesting what you said there about because we've got live classes in the snug, it makes you want to, almost like an appointment, to get up and put your face on and, you know, make yourself presentable, but actually
Yeah.
to get on the class. And one of the other mums this week was saying to me that she just did a live class, and before that she had been doing the pre-records. And when she was doing the pre-record, sometimes she would just press pause and she'd like wander off and make a cup of tea, or she'd go, that looks hard, I'll just sit and watch that one. But almost because she knew it was a live class, she's like, well, Sophia's there and everybody else is doing it, so I'll just do it. And then she did some
Yeah.
of those things and said, actually, I can do those things, and they felt really good. So even the simple things like some of the wall squats, they give you that strength in your legs, but they give you the strength in your mind that you know you can do anything for a minute.
Yes. So I'm
And
really
all of
sorry.
that makes a massive, massive difference.
Having
So
to find a plug somewhere. I'm
is it,
sorry.
is it threatening to run out of battery?
It's threatening to run out of battery. This is
Oh.
just an error in baby head. There we go. We're plugged in.
Oh,
Sorry.
don't you worry. No, all good. Wendy, could you
Okay.
describe for us? I'm sort of darting back and forth here, but something else
That's
just
okay.
came into my mind. Could you describe for us what your contractions, your surges felt like? Because I get asked this question a lot, and I've got
Oh
so
my
many
goodness.
different answers for people. And some people say it feels like a vibration, it's like thunder, it's like gentle period cramp, it's like strong period cramp, it's a tightening. Everyone's got a different kind of way, but I think it's really helpful for first-time mums in particular, just to
Mhm.
get a few ideas of what that might feel like, so they recognize it when it's, obviously they'll recognize it when it's fully happening, but in the early
Yeah.
stages as well.
In the very early stages, I would say it's very much like a period cramp. Um, and then interestingly with Jaden, I actually felt it in my lower back.
Okay.
But with India, it was all in the tummy, and it's really weird to describe. It is like a tightening almost,
Mhm.
like a vamped up period cramp, if you like. And it almost like comes and it squeezes, and then you feel it sort of going away again.
Nice. Yeah.
That I think that's probably the best way. And then as your labor goes on, it it's like someone's just turning it up. But it's, if you have time in the labor, you almost, you know when it's coming, and you know when you're at your peak, and you know then when it's releasing almost. And for anyone who is new to hypnobirthing, or who kind of wants to dabble with the drugs and not the drugs, I always feel that I personally needed the gas and air just for that initial really big tight. And then when I knew it was coming away, I just let the gas and air go, and I just did all my breathing until it went away. And you can catch your breath, and I purposely, that's why I took the gas and air away, to get the air in, get the oxygen flowing, to sort of come back and think, right, I've got a minute, get yourself together. And then you feel the cramp, and then it comes together again, and then and then it relaxes. But yeah, it's like a vamped up mega period cramp. That's what I would say.
And that's almost your mountain again, isn't it? It's that ramping up and then the kind of crescendo back down the other side. And Wendy, one final question. We were just chatting before you and I got into this proper chat today. We were chatting about birth stories and how many good stories and kind of not so good stories that are out there, and how much fear and also how much positivity that those can generate. What's your advice to women when they're hearing birth stories that kind of make them go, or likewise, that's amazing, it's going to be a walk in the park?
I would just say, if it's your friends, your colleagues, and they want to tell their story, absolutely have a listen. But please, 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 you're going to have your own story. Just take on board what people are saying, but don't think for 1 second you're going to have the same birth as your friend, as your mum, as your auntie, because every baby has their own little plan of how they're going to enter the world and how you're going to feel, and you're going to have your own story at the end of it. And try and not get the fear by hearing, I mean, bless all the mums that have the terrible traumatic births. But at the end of the day, you're going to have this teeny tiny, or maybe big, teeny tiny little bundle in your arms. Safe, well, all of the pain, or maybe not the pain, depending on how you feel. It's going to be worth it in the end. So yeah, just have an open mind. And like I say, at the end of the day, you'll have your story to tell. And there'll be no two births the same, ever. No, it's like children. You get no two children the same. No two births are the same.
And even two people who have exactly the same birth experience, if, as you say, there's no two exactly the same, but if you had two that were clinically kind of same duration of labor, same kind of birthing path, but the way that those two people experience those two births is what can also make them completely different. And as you say, it's the way the baby moves, how people associate what that means to people. There's so many different factors that come into play. But the one thing that is for sure, and you've touched on it several times, is that no matter what's happening around you, you know that you can come back to your own calm and to your own breath. And as long as you retain that part of your calm and relaxed and know that you're the one that's got any sense of control, everyone else can affect and have an impact on what you're experiencing, but only you can really make the biggest difference within there. It really is having that confidence. So, Wendy, that's been so refreshing to hear. Thank you so much. I've absolutely loved chatting with you this morning. Anything else that you want to share?
Not really. Just enjoy your pregnancy, especially first-time mummies, and just try your best to go with Sophia and practice your breathing, especially if you want to do it completely drug-free. I mean, gas and air is a wonderful thing, I must say. It gives you something to bite, if anything. Yeah, just relax, and breathe.
The other thing that's funny, just to wrap up on the gas and air, one of my previous mums, she was a midwife as well, and she decided she was going to use gas and air. She said she was using the gas and air, and then after a little while, she just had her kind of strop with it and was like, "That's not working." Threw it across the room and said, "That's not doing anything but making me feel sick." That was
well, it's funny. Yeah, a lot of people, and at one point, it's almost like, if you've not had it before, it's a tube with a mouthpiece on top. And at one point they detached, and I just had the bit, and that was all I needed, was to bite on. And my husband was saying it's detached, and I'm like, I don't care.
It's just needed that. It's like your grown-up pacifier. Oh, Wendy, thank you so much. It's been an
You're
absolute
very
joy
welcome.
having you in the Snug, and I'm delighted that Indy is here. And hopefully, once lockdown's out the way, I'll actually get to meet you guys too.
Yes, yes,
It'll be
yes. And you do a
awesome.
wonderful job, Sophia. And yeah, and I need to just spread the word, sorry, about
Spread
your
the world
classes.
too.
I only know one other pregnant mummy, and I did actually share, but she doesn't live in the Highlands. She lives closer to Edinburgh way, and I did share your information, so she might pop on and do
Yeah.
a few things. I'm
Well,
not.
that's the good thing with the Snug as well. It doesn't matter where people are, although it's
Yeah,
Highland Birth and beyond. That's just because I'm based here.
yeah.
So, as you know, we've got one lady from Iceland. I've got people who
Oh
are way
wow.
down the south of England. So we've got a good mix in there anyway. So not
Oh,
everybody
that's
is local. So everybody pregnant, welcome to
come.
come in, whether you're first trimester or third trimester as well. There's always plenty to do. So
Yeah.
all good. Right, let me just stop
Okay.
this and then I'll chat to you in a sec.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.